The text message said he killed himself. Now, like many of you are right now, I wonder what's happening, what's going on. I was shocked. Now, during my 23 years of law enforcement, specializing in community-oriented policing and mental health investigations, I have received numerous shocking and occasionally jaw-dropping text messages, but this one was different. Here I was at work when I received a text message from one of my closest friends that another close friend and college roommate had taken his own life, and my heart sunk. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to think. I was lost. I was confused, and I had so many questions. So during my sadness, I started my research, and I discovered that these types of incidents are tragically common, and it became clear to me that men needed a way to relieve the stresses of life. And I immediately knew that the real men don't culture had to be at the root of this. The stigmas. Men struggle with vulnerability because of the fear of judgment, because of the fear of looking weak, and because of the fear of losing status. This real men don't culture, it is destroying the lives of most of the men that you know. Real men don't do this, and real men don't do that. Man up is the anthem. Vulnerability is shone. It's a toxic cycle that perpetuates itself, leading to alarming rates of male mortality and poor mental health. But the worst part is the impact that it's having on the family, society, and the marketplace. And it starts very early in life and a slow boil until it becomes the real men don't culture. These are some of the thoughts that men wrestle with every day. I've found that many men silently believe that no one truly cares about them or appreciates them. And that is a sad thing. Real men don't cry. Real men don't do this. It's not where we want to be. Have you ever stopped to consider the weight of expectations placed on the men in your lives, on your sons, on your husbands, on your brothers, your cousins, on your colleagues? It can be rough. It's easy to overlook the struggles that men face when society often paints men as stoic, tough, and unshakable. But beneath the surface, there's a depth of emotion and vulnerability that deserves recognition and support. I know that they're strong, but they need you. So right now, if you can, I want you to think back to a time when someone underestimated you. Maybe assume you were just playing a role instead of taking notice of your true essence. Think back to a time where you felt like someone was taking advantage of you and they were judging you based on surface assumptions, judging you based on the way that you look. It's a frustrating feeling, isn't it? It's a sentiment that I believe that many of us can relate to. Now imagine that same scenario amplified for men who find themselves silently battling feelings of inadequacy and invisibility. Did you know that 1 in 8 men struggle with some form of anxiety, stress, or depression, yet up to 40% of them never share their struggles with anyone? That number is 77% in some parts of the world. 29% of those men say that they are too embarrassed to even discuss their feelings. And it doesn't stop there. Men commit suicide at a rate of 3.6 times higher than women. In Great Britain alone, nearly 12 men take their own lives every single day. That's a life lost every 2 hours. And on a list of countries who value mental health the most, the United States is ranked number 30. Not too good. So what does the science and research indicate? The findings suggest that poor mental health impacts the marketplace, the family, and society at large. And we believe that creating environments of appreciation with its tools and resources would change this downward trend. The research indicates that in the marketplace, teams perform at a higher level when incentives are placed inside of their training and performance. A study published in a Harvard Business Review highlights that environments fostering psychological safety, where vulnerability is encouraged and accepted, led to increased productivity and motivation among their employees. So when men feel better, their mental health improves, which directly impacts their physical health, which in turn has a positive impact on their performance and their work, creating a ripple effect that benefits the entire marketplace. This isn't just about feeling good. It is about tangible results. It is about creating a culture that drives success and well-being at the same time. And it's very important that we know that. So it has a greater impact than just the workplace. In supportive environments, men are less likely to engage in destructive behaviors, such as substance abuse and antisocial activities. Instead, they thrive, which directly benefits society. According to that same Harvard Business Review, men often struggle with self-stigma and social stigma. And men often resort to escapism, withdrawal, and externalization when dealing with their emotions, which has a negative impact on their professional lives and their personal lives. Now, when we consider the family impact, supportive environments benefit when we consider the family, supportive environments benefit the entire family. When men are healthy, both mentally and physically, they're better husbands, they're better leaders, they're better fathers, they're better community members. And these strong family units lead to stronger communities, which lead to a stronger environment that causes governments to spend less because of crime and so many other things that have a negative impact on the family and society. And this is significant regardless of which side of the track you live on. Now, if you will, I want you to take a deep breath and relax. Thank you. I want you to think about how we can have a huge impact on this together. And as I continue in this talk, I want to share a few things that are very, very important. So I need you to listen closely. How do we create these environments for men without stripping them of their masculinity? How do we redefine manhood in a way that celebrates masculinity without destroying masculinity? How do we create environments that celebrate vulnerability and compassion without destroying masculinity? We do this by creating what I call a haven structure. So what is a haven structure? A haven structure is a time, a space, it's a place, it's an environment, it is resources and people and a group of people or a person. It is when, where, and how a person thinks. Inside of a haven structure, no one questions his masculinity. No one challenges his manhood. Cultural norms do not defeat him. This methodology makes it possible for him to be both stoic and express his feelings at the same time. It's possible. This brain is strong. Don't bind it. I believe that it will catapult humanity into a more compassionate future. So now, my friend, my boy, he was this really cool guy. His death had a strong impact on our group of friends. He was the kind of guy that everyone enjoyed being around. And we were inseparable guys. We were middle school friends. We were high school friends. We were even college roommates. He was a guy who had so much charisma that it filled the room. He had impeccable style. He was truly the life of the party, always armed with great jokes. As an adult, he was this incredible guy with a hot wife. And he was also an amazing dad. Amazing dad. So this is why it is so important to create these environments so that we don't lose people like this. Outside of that amazing exterior that he had, he was struggling with these deep-rooted, painful experiences. I often wondered if he had lived in an environment where understanding and appreciation were commonplace. Could he have overcome the childhood traumas that haunted him so much? I believe that he could. I believe that he would have been able to do it. And that is why it is so important for us to create environments of appreciation. So now, I want you to take a deep breath. And I keep having you do this because we're going from step to step. But I want you to imagine me, a single dad, trying to navigate a world where it's typically women who shoulder the weight of a primary custodial parent. Being the father of a child with special needs was unrelenting. There are times where I had no idea what to do. So my single parent journey caused me to discover the profound injustices that women endure in our society. The pervasive grip of the patriarchy, the lack of representation in positions of power, the relentless forces of sexism, racism, and economic inequality. I knew these issues existed. However, what I had not fully grasped was the mental health minefield that women navigate as a consequence. These challenges exact a toll on women's mental health and well-being that most men cannot comprehend. Now, I understand the challenges of being a parent, the relentless pursuit of success, the intricacies of managing personal relationships, and the struggles against exhaustion, but not like a woman. Now, I've stood in your shoes, sort of. I can relate to those early mornings, getting up and preparing his meals, getting them ready, ensuring his safety. Being the father of a child with special needs, unrelenting. Self-care receded into the background. I remember hoping for at least an occasional date night, which was quite difficult looking like this. My journey caused me to realize that women seldom receive the support they so desperately deserve. Women, ladies, your remarkable ability to navigate these challenges often goes unseen because you make it appear so effortless. Women make it look easy, and men, it is not easy. So this is why I'm primarily imploring your help. This is why I'm asking you to join me in creating environments of appreciation, because you have the ability to do this in a way that no one else can do it. You have the ability to help me destroy the real men don't culture that is stealing life from men, that is destroying the family, impacting society and the marketplace. We do this by adding that extra piece of support, the Haven structure. So I often close my eyes and I think back to a time where I felt like we were providing an environment of appreciation for my friend who took his life. And I'm thinking about how we would hear these noises in the middle of the night and then realize that those noises were coming from the kitchen where he would be dancing and stealing all of our food. We were truly poor college students. But somehow he seemed happy, safe, and appreciated. So, men, I want you to listen to me. You need to provide environments of appreciation for the men that you know, because that's what real men do.